Hello Gaudi class and welcome to today's maths lesson. As always, we're going to start with the arithmetic. If you've been doing challenge 1 and finding it really easy, then don't worry about doing it, just do challenge 2. If you've been trying challenge 2 and finding that a bit hard, then try to stick to challenge 1. If you've got lots of time on your hand, you can do both, but you don't need to. Pause the video, have a go at the arithmetic, and then come back to me and we'll go through the answers. Let's have a look at challenge 1 first. So we've got 7, add 2, 1, 2. So that's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, add 9. So I'm going to do one finger first and I'm going to put up another 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's all my fingers, so that's 10. It would have actually been easier if I'd have put the big number first, the 9 first, and then just added the 1. 8, take away 8. So 5, 6, 7, 8. Take away 8. 5, 6, 7, 8. That's all my fingers down, so I've got nothing left. For the extension, I'm going to use the same pattern that I've been using for the last few days. I'm going to start with, I've got to do two numbers that add to 16, so I'm going to start with my 16 add 0. So 16 add 0 is 16. Now, if you had counters or something at home, coloured pencils or something, you could see that if you count your 16 out, you could move one of those pencils from your 16 across, and then you would end up with 15 in the pile where you'd moved one out, and you'd have 1 all on its own. So 15 add 1 equals 16. My mouse doesn't want to move so well today. And then what we can do is we can move another one over. So we would have 14 in this pile and 2 in this pile. And we could keep going one at a time, moving one pencil or one item at a time from 14 plus 2, 13 add 3, 12 add 4, all the way until actually all of your objects had moved into the other pile and you had 0 in the first pile and 16 in the second pile. There are 17 different answers you could have had for that question. Right, on to challenge 2. Let's get the 10s and 1s so we can use that. This first question is a bit of a cheaty question because it asks you to add £3 and 60 pence. And that's just £3 and 60 pence. The answer is exactly the same. You're going to just change your add sign to the word and then that's your answer. Now, if you've got a grown-up near you, they might have helped you and they might have shown you that you can put a dot in between the £3 and the 60 pence. So they might have done something that looks like that. Okay. Can you say thank you very much? But that's not the way we write it in year 2. So if they have shown you that, that's fantastic. But actually in year 2, we don't write it with the decimal point in the middle. That we don't do till year 3. So for the moment, for year 2, we just leave it as pounds and pence separately. But thank your grown-up for helping you with that one. Next one, £24 add £59. So we're going to ignore the pound sign and we're just going to do the numbers. So 24 add 59. Draw my line. Right, let's start with our 1s, adding our 1s. We've got 9 and 4, and I'm only doing it that way around because 9 is the bigger number, so I can put that one in my head and add on the 4, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. I'm going to write the 13 underneath, one in each box, so I can see that it's the 3 that goes up to this box here and the 1 that goes up to this column here. Now I'm going to add up my 10, so I've got 5, 6, 7, 8. I don't know if you notice, but I always add from my bigger number down. I just find it easier. You don't have to. Addition is commutative. You can do it in any order. So you could have done 1 add 2, which is 3, and 3 add 5, which is 8. You'll always get the same answer. So the answer is £83, and I'm just going to put my pound sign back in, although I didn't need it when I was doing the work. Right, let's get rid of this so we can do the next question. 73 pence, take away 18 pence. And again, I'm going to ignore my pence. So I've got 73, take away 18. Now, we didn't look at borrowing when we did 10s and 1s in school. So I'm going to do it with my 10 sticks and my 1 counters. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to get rid of this bit at the top, and I'm going to do 73. So 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 1, 2, 3. And I've got to take away 8 from my ones. And I don't have 8 ones there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of one of my 10 sticks, and I'm going to move it across so it becomes part of my ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So now I've still got 73 because I've got 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70, 71, 72, 73. I've just got a lot of ones. Now I can take away my 8 ones. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ones left, and I have got to take away 1 10 now. So this one doesn't count because we didn't take this one away, we just swapped it for some ones, but now I've got to take away 1 10. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 10s left. So the answer is 55p. Okay, and this one, £3 times 5 is exactly the same as doing 3 times 5, 10, 20. Oh, Mrs. Gabella, that's tens. 5, 10, 15. And then just putting the pound sign back in front of it. And that's our arithmetic done for today. Today, we're going to carry on looking at money. This time, we're going to look at finding the totals, which means adding 2 amounts together. So we're going to look at some bar charts models to start with. Now, a bar model, and I know we've done these before, but I'm just going to remind you, has the total at the top, and then it has the parts underneath. It's like a part whole model, but the only difference is that these parts are the same size as the amounts. So you can see that this part here, where the 20p is smaller than where the 50p is, because 20 is smaller than 50p. So all I want you to do is write the total in the top. So we'll do this one together. So I'm going to count in tens, because this is a tens number, it ends in a 0, and this is a tens number and it ends in a 0. So here I've got 2 tens, and here I've got 5 tens, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tens. So I'm just going to count in tens, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70. So my total here is 70p. Okay, and now I'm going to count this one. So I'm going to count my ones first. And I have got 5 ones here and 5 ones here. So 5 and 5 is 10. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cross those so I remember. And I'm going to put 10 there. Do you know what I'm going to make that into a 0. I make that into a 0. It's a bit cheaty. And now I've got 30, 60, and that 10 that I've just made. So 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. So that's 100p. Now the only thing we have is that answer would be absolutely perfect, 100 pence. But can you remember that 100 pence was the same as £1? I have a feeling I've made that rather trickier than it needed to be, but I'm sorry. Right, let's have a go at these two. So what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to pause the video, see if you can answer these two, and then we'll come back together for the answers when you've got them. So this one here, we've got 25p and 75p. And again, you can see 75 is much bigger than 25. I'm going to try a different way this time. So I'm going to take my 5p from here and I'm going to add it to this bit here. And that will give me 75, add another 5. If I was counting in 5s, 75, 80. So I'm going to change that to 80 because that makes it just a little bit easier for me to count, because now I've got 80p here and 20p here. So 80, 90, 100. So again, I've got 100p. So I could write 100p, or I could write £1. because 100 pence is £1. And this one here, I'm going to do exactly the same. And just to really confuse you, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you it works both ways. So I'm going to take my 5 from here, and this time I'm going to move it to here. So this one, if I add 5, 45, 50, and now I've got 50, add 50, which again is 100, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, and that again is £1. Okay, again, could you please pause the video, find the totals of these, and then come back to me. So 3 add 7, so 7, 8, 9, 10. And you can see from this bar model that the line is right in the middle because 10 and 10 are equal. So 10 and 10 is 20. Super. Okay. It's a bit better. My page looked a bit funny there for a moment. Right, now we're going to look at adding together amounts. Now, I've been saying this to you all week. Money is just the same as adding numbers. You ignore the pence sign and then you bring it back in when you come to your answer. So we're going to find the total of the banana, 23p, and the marble at 35p. Going to ignore the p, so we are just going to add the 23 and the 35. 23 and 35. An extra square. So always do our ones first. 3 add 5, 5, 6, 7, 8. And 2 and 3, which is 5. If it takes you a little bit longer than me to add on your fingers, that's absolutely fine. And if you can do it without adding on your fingers, that's great. So I would like you to try this one, pause the video, and then come back to me when you've done it and we'll go through it together. So this time we're adding 31, add 16. Remember, always add the ones first. So 6 and 1, 7. And the 10s, 3 and 1, and that's 4. So it's 47p. And I think in the last question I forgot to add my p back onto the end, didn't I? Right, I'm going to read the names of the characters this time so I get them right. This is Amir, and he's selling some toys. He's selling a panda, that's £16, and a bucket, that's £4. And Eva says, what is the total cost, please? Total means if I add them together, how much is it going to cost me? So we could do this one column addition. We don't actually need to. We could do this one in our heads because we're going to add 16, add 4. So if we put 16 in our heads and add on 4, 17, 18, 19, 20. So it is £20. So we could do it on our column, but we actually don't need to. Let's have a look at the next one. So this is Joy, and she's also selling some things. Eva's obviously very excited to be buying new things. So Eva is selling a rugby ball for £22. No, Joy is selling a rugby ball for £22 and a very beautiful shirt for £17. This one I am going to do in column addition so that Eva can find the total cost, what they cost together. So 22, add 17. And remember, it's always the ones first. So 7, 8, 9. And 2 and 1 is 3. And I'm going to put my pound sign back at the front. Right, so let me explain about the challenges. We've labelled them Challenge 1, Challenge 2 and Challenge 3. If you were in school, we would be able to tell you which challenge we want you to do. Because we're not there, we can't explain that and we can't tell you all individually what we need you to do. So we need you to think about this sensibly. The idea is that the work isn't easy for you, but it's not so difficult that you hate it and you scream at me. So what I'd like you to do is start with Challenge 1. If you've been doing Challenge 1 since the beginning of this lockdown, and actually you can do Challenge 1s very, very easily and very quickly, then just start at Challenge 2. I'm not there to help you choose which challenge to start with. So I need you to just be a bit sensible about what you do. But at the same time, I don't want you being lazy and going, oh, I don't want to do challenge 3, when actually you know if you were at school, I'd make you do challenge 3. So they get progressively harder. Challenge 1 is the easiest one. Then challenge 2 is a bit harder. Challenge 3 is a bit harder than that. And then at the end, there's a reasoning question where you have to think about the answer. You can't just do it. So challenge 1 today, we've got 3 questions. You've got 4 items here. And the first question is, what is the total cost of buying 1 teddy and 1 train? So you've got to work out how much the teddy costs. So this one is £5. And how much the train costs. So that's £2. And then work out the answer. On this one, you've got 3 items because you've got 2 yo-yos. So what's the total cost of buying 2 yo-yos and 1 football? So you can either do the 2 yo-yos separately. So you could have £1, add £1, add £2. Or you can work out the cost of the 2 yo-yos first. So 1 add 1 is 2. And then add the 2 to the other 2. And then this one here, you've got the cost of buying 1 teddy, 1 yo-yo and 1 train. So like I said, if this is too easy for you, do not do challenge 1, go straight on to challenge 2. Challenge 2, the prices on the items have changed. So again, check whether it tells you you've got to buy 2 or 1. Okay, don't get confused and don't get the wrong answer because you didn't see the number 2. So the first one, what's the cost of buying 2 teddies and 1 train? So again, if you wanted to, you could do a column addition where you added your teddy and your teddy and your train. And you could do 3 numbers together if you're feeling brave. Or you could do, your teddy and your teddy, find out what that costs, and then take that answer, whatever that answer is there, and add that to your 9 for your other thing, for the train. It is up to you. You can do it either way. If you can do it in your head or on your fingers, wow. So that's challenge 2. And again, if you're struggling with that, don't go on to challenge 3. If that was okay, and that wasn't too much of a challenge, then I'd like you to try challenge 3. So again, the numbers are the same, but you're buying more. So be really careful because you're actually adding 4 items here. I think you're adding 5 items in the last one. And the last question, our reasoning question for today, is Ron has this money in his hand. And I hope you can see that clearly because I'm not telling you how much he has. He has 29p in his pocket. So how much money does Ron have altogether? And we can just write, I'm hoping this is going to work. So you could just write Ron has, and then however much he has, P altogether. Okay? And you can just tell me what you think your answer is. So you can just fill that in there. And I look forward to seeing your work on tapestry. And I'll see you for tomorrow's lesson. Have a good day, you too.